President Agikengop is in New York in the United States of America to join other heads of state and governments at the United Nations 76th General Assembly. This year's UN General Assembly is being held under the theme Building Resilience Through Hope to Recover from COVID-19, Rebuild Sustainability, Respond to the Needs of the Planet, Respect the Rights of People, and Revitalize the United Nations. Our reporter Blanche Goreses now joins us via Skype all the way from New York. Greetings, Blanche, and welcome to Good Morning Namibia.
Good morning, Dan. Oh, right. Yeah, good morning.
How are things in New York, Blanche, the city that doesn't sleep?
Well, indeed, quite busy. You know, with the UN scheduled to start with the official opening scheduled to start in a couple of hours. It's quite busy, and over 83 heads of state from the 193 members have confirmed to speak in person. So all of that is to happen in exactly 6 hours time from now, Denver.
Blanche, what does the program look like for the following 2 weeks?
Well, for the following 2 weeks, program for President Gengov or UN in general.
Very well, Blanche. Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you. I just need some clarity. The question on the program, specifically for President Gengov or the UN meetings at the headquarters?
The UN meetings, of course, in general, but President Agikengop in particular.
Well, the president is scheduled to speak on Tuesday. That's now tomorrow. So he'll be speaker number 9. But, you know, Denver, with this type of gatherings here during the UN high-level debate, what leaders do, including President Gengov, as one can witness from the selection of his delegation, the cabinet ministers, as well as members or the people from the Namibia Investment Promotion Board, what they do is that they host a series of side meetings to scout for investments for their countries, looking at different needs of their countries. Now, President Gengov is accompanied by the Mines and Energy Minister, Finance Minister, as well as the Deputy Ministers, that's now for Tourism, Heather Sibungo, and Deputy Minister of Information and Communication Technology. So, and the Foreign Minister, or in the case of Namibia, International Relations and Cooperation, that's Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. So it's not just the political debates going on during the UNGA, but also investment meetings depending on the theme of the UNGA.
Now, Blanche, there have been various calls on nations to declare a climate state of emergency. Are you of the view that climate change and its impact on the world will dominate the agenda?
Well, this year's UNGA focuses mostly on the recovery from the current COVID-19 pandemic. But Denver, as you said, that climate change and the topics thereof have always dominated talks at the UN headquarters or during UN meetings, because the issue of climate change itself is listed under the SDGs that the UN has been consistent in calling on the member states to domesticate the SDGs and develop action plans to address climate change. But more of that will be discussed in detail during the Glasgow meeting. That's now in October. But there are sessions also here. And like I said, Namibia will be represented in those sessions by the Deputy Minister of Environment and Tourism, that's Heather Sibungo. So climate change always forms part of discussions at the UN.
Blanche, you touched on the COVID-19 pandemic, bearing in mind that a number of heads of state and governments will be represented at the Assembly meeting this year. How are safeguards being dealt with?
Like any other country, US is also following the strict health protocols by the WHO, and the UN being a gathering that has been listed as a potential super spreader event by the US government. There are strict protocols, the guidelines that have to be followed, and as a result, some side meetings, apart now from the high level segment or the high level debate, some side meetings are to take place virtually, and then a limited number of persons allowed at the headquarters. So there are protocols that are to be followed by the delegation or people who are attending the meetings here.
Which other engagement?
Just on that point, Denver, of course, countries, I'm sure that during their presentations or the speeches, the heads of state and government will put forward how their countries have implemented the WHO health protocols, how their countries are faring in terms of just handling or keeping the transmissions at bay. And then, of course, Namibia, I'm sure Namibia, because President Geingob has been quite consistent in calling out the unequal access to vaccine or the vaccine nationalism, stating that when developing countries through the COVAX facility are even willing to pay for the vaccine so that they can catch up when it comes to vaccinating or reaching the herd immunity or their targets, but still they are considered as less important or are considered the least. So I'm sure that these are some of the issues that each speaker or each head of state will bring out so that it's addressed.
Blanche, please touch on some of the engagements that President Geingob will be involved in other than the main meetings.
Yes, other than the main meetings from the program that has been shared with us is that there are a series of bilateral meetings. One is with the Prime Minister of Belgium, and then another with the President of Latvia. All these are bilateral meetings in which the president and his counterparts are to touch base on issues of common interest. But so far, his program is quite busy, and I have to mention that the First Lady is also accompanying the head of state. But some of the meetings have been delegated to the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, that is Nonetumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, to represent the head of state, and some to the ministers accompanying the president.
Before we let you go, Blanche, you've got your work cut out for you. Any final remarks, please?
Well, the final remarks is that I will be covering the official opening of the high-level debate. That's now in 6 hours' time, so I'll have more information to share in that regard, as well as the bilateral meetings of the Namibian delegation. And also the Namibia Investment Promotion Board members are part of the president's delegation, and I'm sure are scouting for investments. One of the prominent of the priorities right now is the development of the green hydrogen energy, something that the Office of the Economic Advisor to the President, James Newper, is busy with. So I also will be sharing a lot more on that.
Blanche, enjoy New York and please stay safe.
Thank you so much.
Blanche Goreses, NBC senior reporter, all the way from New York. We'll be right back.